And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at MOA. This is a game by Martin Wallace, and it was, at first, I was initially very attracted to this game because it was a Kickstarter game. I saw it on Kickstarter, and I really like the artwork. It's a game that's kind of, there's no questioning, this is a game with an anti-colonialistic theme to it. So keep in mind that that's kind of the thing. You are a bunch of birds, native birds, living on an island, kind of squabbling with each other, and then a bunch of mammals show up and try to colonize, and you can sell to these guys and sell them your land, or you can fight them off. Meanwhile, there's a volcano about to explode. Okay, so this is, you know, again, it's a thinly disguised theme here, but it's also with birds and animals, and the artwork and everything looked really cool, and Martin Wallace is well known for his designs, so I gave it a try. Here's how it plays. So you can see there's 12 different territories here that players are going to be fighting over. They'll be using these with their birds. So each player is going to get a pile of birds. You also have some leaders here. And there's going to be a couple periods in this game, and each period is made up of 7 rounds. On each round, players are going to draw 2 cards. These cards are going to tell different things happen. This moves the volcano track up. When this gets to the top, boom, everything in the volcano area, number 12, dies. Okay, so that may or may not happen over the course of the game. Who knows? Then these two, and this one here shows that an animal card comes out. So I draw an animal card, and this happens to be a mouse. So a mouse token is going to be showing up, and they're going to start invading in the different areas on the board. And we have different tokens for these. There's even weasels that are not one of the 3 cards here, but weasels attack immediately. And sometimes when you turn over these cards at the top, it will say, like, for example, all the mice attack at this point in time. Now, these are the only 2 territories that can be dealt with this round. And players are going to be using bird cards, and you'll see there's a whole pile of bird cards in here that show different artwork on these cards, but they show symbols. And you're going to pick an action, and then you play a card. So this lets me place birds. So if I play the place birds, this one lets me place 3. If I play this card, it lets me play 2. If I play this card, it lets me play 1. I could play them together. But you know, you only have a certain number of cards, and so you got to make sure that the cards that you spend have the actions that you want. So the actions are going to be placing birds out on the board, and the reason we want to put birds in areas is because at the end of a period, whoever has the most birds in an area is going to get the bigger number of points, 4, and whoever has the second most gets 2. The volcano one has the most points, but at the same time, the volcano one could blow up and not have anything at all. You also have the option of selling land. If there's a card sitting here, I can sell land to this guy, and I'll get to keep this card as points. Of course, no one's going to be able to use that area. All the birds are ejected from that area, so that's problematic. You can drop a leader in if you have the most people in an area and get the token. These tokens can be traded in later on to do different special things, or maybe they even give you points. You can buy tiles over here, which will also have the same thing that you can do. They're called Karakia tiles. You can buy them, and some of them give you special abilities, some give you points. And you can attack. If there's bad guys on the board, you can attack them, and you'll be doing that with the fight icons on here. So there's different icons. We got fight icons and bird icons, and that's what players are going to do. You're going to do this for 2 periods, and I already mentioned how to score points, and there is also going to come points from getting these animals. Now, this is kind of a very basic overview. There's a little bit more going on in the game than what I just said, but that's essentially it. Each round, you'll turn over 2 cards, take the actions on the cards. Those are the only places that you can attack, put birds in, put leaders in. That round, players will take an action or pass, and then we turn over 2 more cards, and we keep doing this. After we do it 7 times, we will score, and then we'll set it up and go through again to do a second period. And then at the end of the second period, whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. So the pieces for the game are pretty good, although they're not very strong wooden pieces. I noticed because a couple of them have broken. They come in different pastel colors, like you saw the green and the orange here, and we got brown and pink and gray. There's these fortress pieces. This happens when you attack an area and successfully beat it. You can put it in a spot. That basically means the animals won't attack that spot anymore. These areas are numbered because the animals kind of invade on the beach and slowly move through to the bigger areas as the animals come in and invade. But if you kick them out, you have this, you basically they won't come to that area again. The tokens and stuff are good. The board itself is, I wouldn't say beautiful, but it's nice. I do like the artwork on the cards, especially the bird cards. This is what attracted me to the game in the first place, was when I saw this. I really like how these cards look, and the different symbols on the cards are neat. The card quality itself, though, not so hot. It is mediocre quality, and the tile quality. The game itself, it's okay quality, but it does look nice, except, I don't know, the board almost looks like that was done with it looks like I did it. I'm not a great graphic designer, but this looks like something I would have just thrown an edged thing here on the board. The game has a nice little reference card that gives you information about some birds on here. Like, oh, I didn't even know what the moa was. In fact, I didn't know what almost any of these birds were. I know the kiwi. And then another reference card that tells you what you can do, which is not really the best reference card. In fact, the rules for this game are okay. And, I kind of glossed over and went through them fairly quickly. Don't ever use my reviews as a way to learn how to play the game. But I want to give you an idea how the game plays. And I want to point out that the way this game is, it's an area control game. Get birds out there. And it has these really cool concepts. Hey, these guys are invading. And you're like, oh, they're invading. I'm just going to sell them this land. Why not? You can have the land. Give me some points. Or I'm going to fight them off nobly, or just have the most in an area and I'll get points for that area. This all sounds fascinating, but the problem with this game is I feel when I play this game that I'm playing with a straitjacket on. And that's because each round you turn over 2 random cards. I mean, they're random. There's 14 cards out of 30, so you're taking 16 out of the game. There's 14 cards there. And you're going to be stuck playing in those lands. I'm like, oh, this turn I want to go here. Well, you can't. You can only go in the trees area this turn. Oh, well, I don't really want to do that. And as the game goes on, more and more areas of the board you can't even go into anymore, especially if the volcano blows up and areas have mammals in. So as the game goes by, you have fewer and fewer choices. And I'm in love with games that give you lots of choices. So while this one obviously has a historical thing that they want to push, and it has a theme which makes sense, with the people invading and landing, and you sell or you buy and you get points. It's just not that. The most interesting thing in this game is that volcano going to blow or not? And it's not even that exciting. It blows and everyone dies, or they don't. It has a lot of points, but what are you going to do? Say, you really, because there's so much randomness with those cards flipping over, and then when it flips over, it's like, this is what's happening. You're like, But when are you going to turn over a plains card like the Plane to Plains? Too bad. And we found that as in the game, especially as you get to the end, we flip over cards and everybody be like, pass, 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 pass. I'll do this. The idea of the symbols on the cards, that's interesting, but also, again, very random. Because I might be like, oh, I want to do this action. I don't have hardly any of those symbols on my cards. And we felt like the game said, this is what you need to do. Follow this path. And you're like, well, what choices I have? You have a few. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry, you have one choice. Oh. And so it gives you very few choices, and then throws in a little bit of randomness on top of that, dictating the choices and dictating the action you can do in those choices. And it just kind of fell apart for me. I wanted to like this game a lot. I love the theme. I love the way the game looked. I like a lot of the concepts of the game. But as it is, you might play it through the first time and be like, that was pretty interesting. The second time I played through it, it's like, wait a minute, this feels exactly like the first game, except that we can go to different lands each turn, and it's a different kind of straitjacket. Yeah, it doesn't really improve, right? It feels like the same thing over and over again. And while I'm a person who plays lots of different games, I still value replayability, and I don't think MOA really has that in spades. So, great ideas, interesting theme, cool artwork, but ultimately a pass for me. Dice Tower Judgment, interesting ideas, but marred by the game being boring.